The KwaZulu-Natal Executive Council says it is satisfied with the province's readiness to contest the 1st of November local government elections. The council has also resolved to officially unveil the Phoenix Monument and a peace garden in December. KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala joins us now to talk more on this. KZN, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time this evening. A lot of people remain concerned by what we saw during the unrest, and they wonder then just how ready is the province to be able to hold a free and fair election, given the amount of violence that we saw and play out during the unrest.
Yes, indeed. We were taken by surprise by the unrest. And as we have said even before, that the security cluster was caught unprepared. We are now prepared. We have since then been on top of the situation, ensuring stability and restoring all institutions and functionings of services that was disrupted. As we move to elections, we can say with no doubt that we are getting ready to host the local government elections, and we will do all in our power to ensure that the elections are free, peaceful, and all parties campaign as they wish. We have established the multi-party political committee, which is chaired by the IEC and the MEC for community safety in KwaZulu-Natal. We are cascading this process to district, and we will ensure that in all districts we establish these forums as the platform to identify hotspots, intervene and mitigate any threat of violence or disruption. We have already identified some areas that we think are a hotspot which needs to be attended to right from now. And our approach is to be a proactive through intervention where we mediate, create peace, but also the second leg is to ensure that in areas where we think there are hotspots, we quickly deploy and reinforce security teams in those areas.
I wonder then I know you say that you'll quickly deploy, law enforcement or security to these different areas, but talk to us about this intervention at a practical level, because we saw political parties, even during voter registration weekend, they themselves being hostile towards one another. A political party to which you belong was preventing members of the Economic Freedom Fighters, for example, to be able to access a voting station in order for them to see if things were going as planned. Now, how will this intervention look like at a practical level?
As government, we have condemned and we continue to condemn all incidents where parties will prevent others from free campaigning. And that's why we have said, as the ANC, we must ensure that we send a strong message to members of the organization so that they will also understand the standpoint of the ANC. No one should be prevented from campaigning or from observing elections in any part of the province. But what we're going to ensure that we stabilize is that we intervene in advance and get those parties that are contesting working together to ensure that they address their respective constituencies or members so that the unhealthy competition and violence is prevented.
And which areas, if you're able to share with us, have you identified as hotspots?
Well, some of the areas of Inanda, you will remember where when the ANC held its selection process, 3 women were killed while they were on the queue to the voting process. We've also identified some hostels. We've identified some areas around Umsinga and Umzinyati we've identified some areas in Zululand where normally free campaigning used to be disrupted, and we will be ensuring that there are interventions in those areas.
I see also from your statement, there's talk of a monument in Phoenix. We'll get to that in just a moment. But I'd like to get a sense from you on the posters that we then saw. And before you respond, even as a member of a political party, let's talk to you then as a premier, because the last time we spoke to you about the area of Phoenix, you were talking about what government was going to do to try and ensure that there's social cohesion there, because you were concerned about what was unfolding there. How backwards does a messaging like that we saw on those posters take that process of social cohesion back?
We believe that the incident by the DA was so insensitive, especially given the impact of that Phoenix massacre and the progress we had made as government and the respective community leaders from Phoenix, Amawoti, and Pambai areas. And we believe that what they did was unfortunate. It sought to deepen divisions, but we are grateful and we want to applaud the community leaders at a local level who didn't get tempted to yield to such messages. And they were firm that they still support and still stand that we should work on the program of social cohesion in that area. You will remember we started with the negotiations, brought together the Peace Committee composed of all affected areas. Secondly, we've been hosting a number of activities that seek to reunite and socialize that community together. That include dialogues, that include sports tournament. It also include the peace walk we held from Phoenix to Pambai areas. We are moving toward other focal areas in the program of building social cohesion in that area. What we are going to be doing through heritage programs, we will be having heritage activities of the different communities from Inanda and Phoenix, so that we promote multicultural activities. But we will also have a peace garden which will be established between these communities as part of fighting poverty and sharing entrepreneurial skills. Thirdly, we will also erect a monument which we will unveil on the 16th of December as part of reconciliation program. So this is what we will be doing to restore social cohesion in Phoenix and the surrounding.
I wonder then what this monument will look like. Will it have the names of those who were killed in Phoenix?
It will be a reflection of peace and reconciliation. It will indeed have the names of all victims who died during the Phoenix massacre. And as we're working toward this reconciliation, we have not forgotten or ignored the process of judiciary. We have insisted that the law must continue and it must prevail. We're grateful that most of the perpetrators or alleged perpetrators are still in jail. They've been denied bail, and we will continue to monitor all these cases because the law must prevail and it must take its course.
And I can't help but ask you, this as the chair of the ANC in that province. I mean, those posters were directed at the ANC, saying that the ANC calls you racist, the DA calls you heroes. And this, of course, against the backdrop of what you've just described, the court process that is yet to be concluded. Surely the ANC, as we saw even the acting Secretary General yesterday, very unhappy about that. Surely the ANC in the province also has a strong reaction to this.
Indeed, but it will be important that we send a clear message The ANC is a non-racial organization. It is an organization that stands to unite all South Africans for the creation of a national democratic society where all people live together and in harmony. And therefore, we condemn what was done by the DA in strongest terms. It is provocative. It undermines Africans in particular. It seeks to patronize Indian community. And it is wrong to divide the society.
And as a parting shot, Premier, one of the things that we saw, happen was the launch of the school, the Polela High School, and this is in the Herikwana district. And the school is, of course, very, very key when it comes to, science and innovation. Talk to us about the impact this is going to have on schooling in the province, especially because we see in some areas, such schools are very little to come by.
Indeed, this is one of the milestones and major deliveries of the democratic government under the leadership of the ANC. That school was dilapidated up until those who studied in the school started raising the matter with us as government. And we started from 2018 rebuilding that school, repurposing it to be a center of excellence. And we're grateful of the work that we are doing there as KwaZulu-Natal government. That school will specialize in science and technology, and it is an innovative center. But what is more important is that it seeks to bring quality education to rural community. And that's what we are doing. We are not just building ordinary schools. We want to build schools that will ensure that we address the gap in terms of quality